I was only 8 years old when a tiny golden retriever walked into my life. For 14 wonderful years, he never left my side. He watched me grow up. He stood beside me through every heartbreak. He was even there on my wedding day. People used to tell me, "He's just a dog," but they were wrong, because on the day a speeding car came toward us, Cooper made a choice that no one should ever have to make. He saved my life by giving up his own. Even now, at 74 years old, I still wear his picture around my neck, and every week I find myself sitting on the same park bench, still waiting for the best friend I ever had. My name is Grace Mitchell. I am 74 years old. If you look closely at the little photograph resting on the table beside me, you'll probably see nothing more than a golden retriever. But when I look at that photograph, I don't just see a dog. I see my childhood, my happiest memories, and the greatest love I was ever blessed to know. The silver locket around my neck holds his picture. I have worn it every single day for years. I never take it off. Not while I sleep, not when I travel, not even on the hardest days. People often ask me, "Grace, can a dog really change someone's entire life?" I always smile before answering, yes, because he was never just my pet. He was my family. His name was Cooper. I was only 8 years old when my father came home carrying a tiny bundle of golden fur. At first I thought he was a stuffed toy because he was so small and quiet. Then he lifted his little head, looked straight into my eyes, and wagged his tail. That was the moment my heart belonged to him forever. I named him Cooper before dinner that same evening. From that day on, we were inseparable. Every morning, Cooper walked with me to the front door before school. He would sit quietly on the porch, watching until my school bus disappeared around the corner. Every afternoon, before the bus even stopped, I could already see him waiting by the mailbox the moment my feet touched the ground. He would run toward me with all the excitement in the world. It didn't matter whether I had been gone for 6 hours or 6 minutes. To Cooper, every reunion felt like a celebration. Childhood wasn't always easy. There were days when classmates were unkind, days when I came home with tears in my eyes because someone had laughed at me or made me feel like I didn't belong. Cooper never asked what had happened. He simply rested his head on my lap. Sometimes, without saying a single word, love speaks the loudest. He stayed beside me until my tears stopped. Whenever I laughed, Cooper somehow seemed to laugh too. He would run circles around the yard, chasing butterflies that always escaped him, barking happily, as if the whole world existed just to make us smile. My parents used to laugh and say, "You two aren't just best friends, you're brother and sister." Looking back now, I think they were right. Cooper never judged me. He never disappointed me. He never lied to me. He simply loved me, unconditionally. Years passed. I eventually started college. Cooper grew older right alongside me. Those years changed both of us. I was learning about the world outside my home, and Cooper was quietly becoming my reminder of where I belonged. Whenever I returned from a long day of classes, he was there waiting for me. His steps were slower than before, but his happiness was still the same. I started noticing the little signs of time passing, the gray around his face, the moments when he rested a little longer, the way he looked at me with those familiar, loving eyes. But to me, Cooper was still the same friend who had been there through every chapter of my life. He had watched me grow up, and somehow, without saying a single word, he taught me what loyalty, patience, and unconditional love truly meant. Not long after graduation, I met Ethan Parker. We started as friends before either of us realized it. Friendship quietly turned into love. At first, I was nervous about introducing Ethan to Cooper, but the moment they met, something beautiful happened. Ethan didn't even pause. He smiled immediately. He knelt beside Cooper, gently scratched behind his ears, and looked back at me with a smile. "I think he just decided whether I'm good enough for you." I laughed harder than I had in weeks. From that day forward, Ethan and Cooper formed a bond that made my heart feel completely at peace. They became best friends faster than I ever imagined. Whether we were cooking dinner, taking long walks, or spending quiet evenings at home, Cooper was always right beside us. For the first time in a long time, life felt beautifully complete. I remember thinking, If life could stay exactly like this forever, I would never ask for anything more. But life has a way of changing, even when your heart wishes time would stand still. I just didn't know. The hardest chapter of our story was quietly waiting around the corner. One autumn morning, Cooper didn't run to greet me at the front door. For the first time in years, he stayed lying quietly on his bed. I knelt beside him and gently rested my hand on his head. He looked up at me, wagged his tail once, and gave me the same loving eyes I had known all my life. But something felt different. Ethan noticed it too. He quietly looked at me, and neither of us had to say a word. Deep down, we both knew it was time to take Cooper to the veterinarian. The drive to the clinic felt longer than it had ever felt before. Cooper rested his head quietly on the back seat, as if he trusted us to take care of everything. Neither Ethan nor I said much during the drive. Some kinds of silence speak louder than words ever can. When the veterinarian finished examining Cooper, he took a slow breath before speaking. I knew that look before he even said a single word. My heart began to sink, and somehow I found myself praying for a different answer. The veterinarian spoke gently, but every word felt heavier than the last. He told us Cooper was very old, and his body was beginning to grow tired. There wasn't a miracle to offer, only a promise to keep him comfortable and surrounded by love. I reached for Cooper's paw, and he quietly rested it in my hand. In that moment, I realized he wasn't afraid. He trusted us the same way he always had. I was the one struggling to let go, not him. I smiled through my tears because I didn't want the last thing he saw to be my fear. We brought Cooper home because that's where he had always been happiest. He slowly walked through every room as if he was visiting each memory one last time. He paused beside his favorite sunny spot by the window and quietly lay down. Ethan and I sat beside him for hours, saying very little, simply grateful to be together. Every gentle breath he took reminded me how precious even the smallest moments had become. I found myself holding on to every second, wishing time would slow down just a little more. That evening, I took out the old photo album we had filled over the years. Page after page, every photograph held a piece of our life together. He was so small, so full of wonder, and somehow he filled every corner of our hearts. I never imagined that one little puppy would become one of the greatest blessings of my entire life. Every memory in that album reminded me that love is measured by moments, not by years. I gently closed the album and looked over at Cooper once again. He was resting peacefully, and I silently thanked him for every beautiful day we had shared. Before I continue, if this story has touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the rest of our journey. That night, I stayed awake a little longer, just listening to the quiet rhythm of his breathing. I realized that love doesn't ask how much time is left. It simply treasures every moment that remains. I reached over, gently held his paw, and whispered how deeply he had changed my life. He didn't need to understand every word, because somehow he always understood my heart. As I looked at him, I knew our story had never been about ending. It had always been about love. Even in the silence, his presence filled our home with a peace I will never forget. The next morning, the house felt unusually quiet, as if it knew what my heart refused to accept. I walked over to him with a gentle smile, hoping to see those warm eyes looking back at me one more time. For a moment, everything stood completely still, and I understood that our goodbye had finally come. Ethan wrapped his arms around me, and together we thanked Cooper for a lifetime of unconditional love. We cried without shame, because some goodbyes deserve every single tear. Although his paw prints would never again echo through our home, they would remain forever imprinted on our hearts. I gently picked up his favorite collar and held it close to my heart, as though a part of him was still right there beside me. I whispered, "Thank you, Cooper." Because some souls never truly leave us. They simply find a forever home inside our hearts. Even now, whenever the morning sunlight fills this room, I still find myself smiling, because loving him was one of the greatest blessings of my life. Because loving Cooper was one of the greatest blessings my heart will ever know. And if love truly lasts forever, then I know this isn't the end of our story. It's simply see you again. Wherever life finds you today, I hope you never stop believing believing that love leaves us stronger than it found us. And if someone you love is still by your side, hold them a little closer today, because every ordinary moment is a gift. Thank you for walking this journey with me and for keeping Cooper's memory alive in your heart. Goodbye, my sweet Cooper, until we meet again. If Cooper's story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who loves their furry family as much as you do.